the beautiful mountains. And as you pass our windows every day, we do wave to the manager, and the safety latch is on the window. And she goes, well, you're looking out the window, but the window's only 1 inch open. So what are they talking about? I said, well, they don't think that our windows are proper. So they want to put something over it so we can't look at the window in this little space. Manager says, hey, that's fire safety violation. She contacted CPS and told them that. They didn't return her phone call, but she, did contact them and said, hey, that's a violation. Do you need me to come to court to talk about it? It's like, hey, what do we have to do to try to prove to you that we're keeping our children safe? I had Lisa Ball come by. She investigated everything. And then she goes, well, I'll be back next week. I said, no, we're leaving. We're going out of town. She's like, oh, are you guys really leaving, or are you just going to be here and you're not going anywhere? I said, here's the receipts. Here's the documentation to show that we've already booked our trip. We're going. So we skip out of town, come back the next week. She's like, oh, well, you guys are moving to your new place, so we'd like to see where you're going to be moving to next. Okay. So anyway, the next week comes by, and what's really horrible is that CPS feels that they have the need to come to our new place. They want to come to our new place. So again, we have to have a complete stranger waltz around and taint our new home, which meant nothing to us. And she's like, oh, this is nice. It seems like the windows all have da-da-da-da to them, and this on the lower floor, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking to myself, why in the hell do I have to have this broad, I don't know, in my house? And it was horrible. It was horrible because when we moved to our new place, it was a new beginning. And we just wanted people that we loved to come to our new place. Because our other place meant nothing to us. Even with the view of the mountains, it meant nothing. Because we had Chris Knazer come to our house. We had a couple people that were from CPS come to our house and try to make us sign a contract to this place called Child Haven. Now this is the pathetic part about Child Haven. That place is 3/4 empty, okay? People dying to be volunteers at Child Haven. But yet they say they don't have any funding for the school. But then we do the research and they get $3 million. But yet they don't have any money. But yet they got all that space, all that area where there's no kids in the school. And they said, oh, we're running out of budgeting, so we're going to kick your daughter out of that school. This was a long time ago. My daughter was going to that program. The judge had ordered 18 months. They only kept their daughter in there for 11 months. They kicked her out. They asked for our other child to go to that school. We said no. And then they kicked our daughter out of the program. But yet they don't have any money. I guess $3 million is not good enough for them. I guess that's just not enough. And then they got a school that's empty and they don't even have kids there. That's just wrong. I did find the programs for my children, and I did it on my own. And, I wanted them to continue their learning. And I gave all this information to CPS when they took my kids away. And guess what? They lost every single one of the programs that were available for my children. They went ahead and let all the applying I did and all the grants that I got completely run out. In a sense, if they would have kept them in this area, they could have kept them in programs that I applied for. But they let the programs fall by the wayside. I turned programs down all the way up to 2009 for my children. Why? Because they would not even use the programs that I applied for. And then they tried to tell me, you're not really trying hard to educate your children. I said, why don't we have each person from the programs that I applied for come in and tell you in person that I applied for the programs. And here's the paperwork and the documentation. And here's their name and number. And here's their business card. Is that good enough for you? And then they have some nerve to just look at the paper, sit it down, and not even read it. Now, that's the kind of documentation and paperwork they have completely ignored. They don't want to talk to my manager, who will verify that I paid my rent every single month on time, and sometimes even ahead of time. They don't want to talk about me following each and every single rule here in housing. They don't want to talk about that. And it doesn't matter to them that I've only had one traffic ticket out of driving for 26 years. I guess that's just not good enough to be a parent. I guess the 25 nephews and nieces that I raised is not good enough. I guess me being a nanny at one point in my life, that's just not enough to be a parent. And the thing that bugs me the most is that they ask my children, has your mother ever whipped you? And they both keep telling them, no. Then they ask, have I ever used inappropriate language around my children? And I keep saying no. So, if you sit there and you interview my kids for a year, and they're telling you no, doesn't that mean something to you? Because my son and my daughter is my little king and my little queen. And, you know, if I get them back, and when I get them back, I want to have a really, really, really good job. Because I figure if I don't take a penny from them, any way, shape, or form, that I can be a parent and be left alone. Because if they harass me, I can go ahead and get a real good lawyer. And then they can leave me alone. But, you know, I just feel like they're never going to leave me alone. I don't think they're ever going to leave me alone. I think I'm going to be bothered. I'm going to be bothered. How much taxpayers' money is going to be wasted? How much more are they going to keep wasting? How many times do I have to be followed from place to place to place to place? I'm tired of putting everything on my head, carrying furniture from one place to another, trying to make fresh memories, trying to start anew. Because that's what it all boiled down to. If you move 3 times in 5 years and you've got people following you around from place to place to place, you know, inviting themselves into your house. Just like Delpy Reisner. How would you like it if I come and invite myself to your house? Follow you around and write down everything you say. But let me tell you something. The difference between me writing down everything and acknowledging everything, CPS only writes 1/3 of everything down. You know, there's a bunch of cowards out there. Because if you're so concerned and worried, why don't you stick around? But anyway, I want to say thank you. Thank you very much.